Alright, ladies and gentlemen, my name is BrendenPlayz. Let's get into this. Let's not waste any more time. This is our brand new save, All Elite Wrestling 2020. The save I've been waiting pretty much a full year to get around to. I've been so excited to play as All Elite Wrestling. It's about damn time we start doing it. And I figured, look, I'll wait for the new game, I'll wait for the new features, I'll wait for all the new stuff, and hopefully this is worth the wait. Hopefully I am ready to book something that is worth watching, because I don't really even know how to play TEW2020 because I haven't really played much of it, so this is going to be a bit of a learning curve for me as we go. But this should be fun. This should be a lot of fun. We'll have a quick little run around and show you what the roster's looking like and what we're working with. I myself have taken the liberty to add a few storylines that this mod didn't have preset ready to go. For example, Cody in the TNT Championship, Inner Circle in the Elite. I think the storyline's pretty much done, or at least on hold for now, but we've got it there just in case we want to go with it more. Moxley versus Cage, Sheeta and Rose, and probably need to add some more, certainly for the tag division. Obviously the champions, Cody's TNT champ, Sheeta's the women's champion, Moxley's the world champion, and Adam Page and Kenny Omega the tag team champions, which for me just doesn't feel right. You know, Adam Page and Omega together as tag champs when we've just got FTR and, you know, the Young Bucks and so many tag teams that probably should be champions ahead of them. Expect maybe a title change sooner rather than later. But the one thing that I wanted to do with this mod is, obviously we've got the COVID situation going on still. Fans aren't really allowed into the shows, so I want to still try and replicate that for a little bit in this mod. I'm thinking maybe until around All Out. So yeah, with the COVID, I want to try and replicate that for a little bit. And the way that I want to do that is by having not many people in my venues. So I've got, of course, we've got the Dailies place that AEW owns, and also the 1-4 Power Factory, which was the original building that they used during that first taping after the COVID around March, April, and that's of course QT Marshall's gym. So we're probably going to use that arena for the next couple of months to replicate AEW not having many fans. It only holds 100 people, so that's our way of having smaller shows with not many fans for a while, until I would say maybe August, which will give us about 2 more months until we can start reopening for the fans. Realistically, I see fans coming back to wrestling a little bit later than that, but that would just be our early guess. So that's our way of continuing the COVID, no fans. And I don't know if I'm going to go all in on that, no pun intended, and say, like, for example, Pentagon Jr., who's obviously from Mexico. I don't know if I'll go all in on that concept and say, okay, we can't use him because he's from overseas. Same with Park, for example. You know, to keep the realism, maybe we will. It's only for a couple of months, so it's not a big issue for us, but that's maybe something we'll think about. Our main event guys, our top guys, Jericho, 81 pop, Cody, 65, Moxley, 75, and Omega, 65. So, right off the bat, obviously not a lot of popularity to work with. You know, next tier, they're called, so obviously they've changed the way that things work, so it's no longer main event, upper mid-card, for example, it's perception. So the next tier long is Star, which probably will be more of your upper mid-card guys. Adam Page, who's got 55 pop. Matt Hardy's got 60 pop. Young Bucks should have 58 each. MJF, who is right now my favorite wrestler in the world. MJF is the man. He is just phenomenal. I love MJF, so I'm sorry, but he will be getting a big push in this save. If you don't like MJF, you're crazy, but MJF, he will win a world title probably at some point in this save. Maybe. If not, at least the TNT Championship. And Parker's got 57 pop, which is actually a little higher than I expected, which is good. Next down the card, so it's well known. So we've got Brian Cage, who's obviously going to be our big main event coming up soon for Fighter Fest. He's got 48 pop. And look, Brian Cage has got an incredible look. So he's someone that I'm looking forward to seeing how he goes. He's got some really good stats too. Cash Wheeler, of course. Dash Wilder from the Revival. So I'm looking forward to having FTR, and I'm a big fan of FTR. I think they're a good tag team. It's a throwback team is something that AEW really needs, and that's a good fit for the company. So looking forward to using him. Chris Daniels, 45 pop. Darby Allin, someone that I didn't really like early on, but he's really growing on me. And Darby Allin, I think, is someone that could be a bit like a Jeff Hardy for AEW. You know, a little bit of an enigma, someone a little bit out there, a little bit different, and a bit of a daredevil that the fans latch onto. Of course, Dax Harwood, Scott Dawson from the Revival, Jake Hager, 52 pop. Jake Roberts, he's not going to wrestle, even though... Yeah, okay, so even though he's not actually retired in the game, if you wanted him to wrestle, he probably would, but we don't want him to. 50 pop. Big fan of Jake Roberts. Jake Roberts is one of my favorite promos in wrestling history. He's awesome. Lance Archer, obviously managed by Jake. Lance, I haven't really followed his career at all. I haven't really seen much of his work at all. But since coming to AEW, I've been quite impressed. I think he's done better out of himself and Brody Lee. So Archer's got 48 pop. Brody Lee's got 54. I think right now Lance Archer is far better than Brody Lee in my eyes. Obviously, Brody Lee pigeonholed with the Dark Order gimmick isn't going to help him, but I've been far more impressed and entertained by Lance Archer than Brody Lee. And of course, Orange Cassidy. I don't get it. I don't get the Orange Cassidy thing, but it's kind of silly. I always love it when he gets his ass kicked. So, yeah. Let's have a look at the free agents. Now, here's the deal. I will be signing people, but it's got to be the right person and the right time. So that's probably the hard thing to really grasp. When is the right time? Who is the right person? Let's have a look at some of the people with a bit of popularity behind them. So most of these guys or girls, no interest in at all. Even Cain Velasquez, nah. We just want to sign people that will suit and fit our company. Someone like Chris Hero would be good if we didn't have like a Colt Cabana already, like a guy who's been around for a long time, very experienced, can help put over the young talent. Sure, Chris Hero would fit that, but we've got guys that already fit that role now. Kurt Hawkins, what would you do with him? Would you push? Honestly, would you give Kurt Hawkins a push in AEW? I wouldn't. Same with Curtis Axel. They're just average workers, nothing real special about them. Enzo, yeah, I'm not touching that. Now, someone just wrote in the comments, Ronnie said, Rowan to the Dark Order. I didn't think about that, but that probably would be a good move, Eric Rowan joining the Dark Order. But I can see it never happening because I remember listening to a Brody Lee podcast, and he basically said he wants to, separate himself from Eric Rowan. He just wants to be his own man, wants to be the leader of his own thing. So I don't think he would want that himself, but Rowan and Harper together, not a bad team. But I think Brody Lee on his own is probably at least fresh at this point, and Rowan on his own has got no value for me. The one guy that I would want to sign, if I could sign anyone, and if I could only sign one person in this save, it would be EC3. Reason being, he's got $1 million look. In the stats of this game, he's got 85 star quality. His mic skills around the high 70s / low 80s mark. Great sex appeal. Basics are good. Selling's decent enough. Stamina's not too bad. Psychology, we can work with that. Brawling solid. Technical's not bad. He's got 40 pop. For me, if I was going to sign anyone, it would be him. I think he was criminally underutilized in WWE. A huge wasted opportunity. He is a guy that should be a main event talent working in WWE right now. Top guy. I don't know why Vince just didn't like him for whatever reason, but normally he's a guy that with that look that he's got, Vince would be going all the way with him. But Not to be, but I think for me, he's someone that I would want to give that push to in AEW. Some other people, you know, for example, Jacob Fatu. You know, I actually looked at the MLW roster, and they've got a really nice roster. Lots of good young talent coming through that would really benefit from being in AEW. Jacob Fatu is one of them. 77 star call, he's pretty good. James Storm, probably don't need him. Jeff Cobb, 40 pop, which is a little surprising. He's already kind of had that appearance in AEW, so I've kind of seen what he's, you know, what he offers, and his lack of size is probably what would kill him from really succeeding. Anderson and Gallows would be good, obviously, to increase the tag division even more. I don't feel like they're a must get though. I feel like there would be. I feel like FTR was the must get for AEW. Anderson Gallows would be nice, but probably not a deal breaker. Not, you know, wouldn't really enhance the tag division all that much. For me personally, Rusev needs like 1 year out of the spotlight, whether he's working indies or he's just laying low, maybe goes overseas to Japan or Mexico or something like that. Rusev needs to go away for like a good year or two and then come back with a new look, reinvigorated, a fresh start, because he was just so tainted and so buried from that horrible Lana, Rusev and Lashley storyline, that any momentum he built up with Rusev Day is gone, forgotten. Yeah, it's not good. But 59 pop, that is tempting, and he'd be a guy that would obviously help out the main event scene. But for me personally, couldn't see myself doing anything with him. I wouldn't give him the big push. I'd rather invest in like an EC3 instead. WWE have performed a full draft on their brands in order to freshen up their roster. Well, do we have a look at their brands? What have they done? So who is on Raw now? I tell you what, I wouldn't even know who's on Raw now. I haven't watched WWE in a long time properly. Bray Wyatt's now on Raw. Styles back on Raw again. Aleister Black still there. Lashley still there. Cesaro. Daniel Bryan on Raw. Edge is still on Raw. Matt Riddle's on Raw. Robbie Roode. Samoa Joe. Sheamus. Nakamura. Undertaker. Not bad. SmackDown. Got Bayley, Lesnar, Strowman, Charlotte, Goldberg, Elias, Ziggler, Cena, Kevin Owens, Corbin, Randy Orton, Seth Rollins, Triple H, The Miz. Not bad. So that's the Raw, the Raw and SmackDown drafts. Speaking of Raw, their first show of the series pulled an 80 show rating. So we can't, I don't know a way that we can replicate everyone in the save not to have fans at their shows. I don't think there's a possible way. So we'll let WWE keep having people attend their shows because I don't really care. It doesn't really matter to us. Rey Mysterio and Drew McIntyre beat Sami Zayn and Nakamura in the main event for 82. Andrade, Bray Wyatt, and Styles beat Humberto and the Usos for 82 as well. That's a pretty good start. 80 rated Raw. You can't complain with that. That's a good effort to get things underway. Alright, so we have been given new goals, and the NWA have offered a contract to Nyla Rose. Okay, I thought she had an exclusive deal. Well, I might try and give her an exclusive deal. $9.5 grand a month. That is a lot of money for Nyla Rose. I'll give her a 1 year deal. She wants a higher cut of the merchandise. Well, I'm pretty confident she won't sell any merchandise, so I'm willing to give you that cut. Alright, so Nyla Rose wants we've got to give her an exclusive deal. I suppose that's something to look at is there anyone that we really don't want to lose that's available on the market? We probably should try and lock down our most important talents. Okay, let's have a look at Tony Khan's goals for us. Let's hope they're not ridiculous. Okay, so AEW cannot fall into debt at any point. I'm pretty confident we'll do that. Can't fall below medium size. Pretty confident we'll do that. You can't have any comedy style wrestlers, and you can't have any psychopath wrestlers. I don't mind that. And you can't hire or extend the contract of any wrestler that has less than 60 in basics. Well, I feel like that's going to be annoying. But there's no specific push a certain wrestler owner goal. Which I'm kind of annoyed. Like, I wouldn't have minded to have one, just to see who they're going to want me to push, but let's do it. So this is the first edition of AEW Dark. Our first show we're going to book in the series. I don't think it's going to be a great show, but it's a show that will accomplish a couple of things. Let's get into it. Peter Avalon versus Scorpio Sky kicked us off with Scorpio Sky picking up the win. Didn't have much heat and terrible wrestling. 41 rated in the end. Nobody really wants to see Peter Avalon. Fair enough. I probably wouldn't want to see him either. Next up, Billy Gunn and Austin Gunn together. And we've got a video of them training together. So a video of them trying to, work out some tag team moves and figure out what their future is in the tag division. Billy Gunn trying to help out his son as well. So 33 rated there. Austin Gunn pretty poor when trying to improvise dialogue. Alex Reynolds and John Silver took on the Private Party for 37. Silver 38, Reynolds 35, Mark Webb 46, Isaiah Cassidy 56. Not bad. The crowd will turn off by having a match outside of the pre-show between workers they don't have any investment in. Okay, interesting. So they not too keen on having two lower end tag teams fight it out. Private Party picked up the win nonetheless. That's a pretty good rating though from Private Party. I like that. Britt Baker and Rebel are out there as we establish that they are going to be together, as Rebel is going to be Britt Baker's personal carer during this injury. Rebel was terrible with no script to follow. Her dialogue was a mess. I'm not sure why everything's off the script. Cheerleader, I don't even think I given her that gimmick. Yeah, I forgot to give her an actual gimmick, but cheerleader gimmick, she's cheering on Britt Baker, that'll do. Next segment, Anna Jay versus Rio, who have pretty good chemistry and lifted the match. Rio 45, Anna Jay 20. So to be fair to Rio, it's a pretty good performance. Anna Jay 20, obviously I'm thinking Anna Jay is going to be a star for us at one point, maybe not yet, but it's good to see her having some good chemistry with someone straight away, which is good to see. 29. Jungle Boy out there as well. He cuts a promo about his upcoming match with Cody. Well, in this instance, he cuts a promo about his loss against Cody for 54. Pretty good for a Jungle Boy promo. And our main event was Jake Hager and Chuck Taylor for 54. Jake Hager 54, Chuck Taylor 45. So Hager, I think, has 52 pop from memory, so not that much above his popularity. Taylor 45, a fair amount above, to be fair to him, so that's not a bad sign. Our first show in the books is 43 rated. Yeah. All Elite Wrestling, let's get into our first edition of Dynamite for the series. Cody and Jungle Boy in the main event, should be a good one. Let's take a look at the card. Fingers crossed, we do okay. Alright, so we open things up with Taz and Brian Cage talking about their plans for Jon Moxley after winning at Double or Nothing. They are now the #1 contenders. Taz improvised pretty well. Moxley and Cage, that storyline got started for a rating of 50. Not bad. Chris Daniels and Lance Archer had a 59 rated match. Probably better than I expected. Daniels 46, Archer 58. Lance Archer benefited from being in amazing form. Wow. Well, Archer 58 performance is really good. I think he's got 48 popularity. So that's 10 above his pop, which is very promising. And as I said, I feel like Lance Archer, out of, he and Brody Lee, I feel like Archer's going to be the guy. After the match, MJF was mocking Christopher Daniels after the loss, which he described as embarrassing. And Daniels didn't want to do anything about it because, of course, Wardlow was there. So there you go. 54 rated for that segment. Hybrid 2 took on Best Friends for 60. Wow. Jack Evans 53 and Helico 57. Chuck Taylor 56. Trent 57. And that kicked off the Best Friends versus Omega and Page storyline as Best Friends pick up the win to pretty much make them #1 contenders. Both teams getting a bonus as being a tag team specialist. So that's really good. 60 rated is fantastic for a tag match between two lower end teams. We had Colt Cabana backstage with Tony Schiavone when Mr. Brody Lee gave Colt Cabana an offer that maybe he can't refuse. After Colt Cabana was talking about his recent struggles of trying to break through the card and get himself near the championship, Brody Lee said he can help it. So we had a 59 rated segment there, kicking off the Colt Cabana Easy to join the Dark Order storyline. And Preston debuted his cult member gimmick, and it got a rating of very good. That's a great start to Preston's run here in AEW. A very good gimmick is a great way to really make sure that his momentum will get building. Because I think Preston's got a good look about him. He definitely could be a decent wrestler, at least inside the Dark Order anyways. We had Sean Spears and Matt Hardy go one-on-one for 58. Sean Spears 42, Matt Hardy 57. Both guys not performing all that well in the ring, to be honest. 58 rated match wasn't too bad. Tully Blanchard doing good work ringside as well. And we had Nyla Rose and Hikaru Shida. We had a recap of their recent match at Double or Nothing. And our main event, Cody versus Jungle Boy for 66. Cody 72, Jungle Boy 51. And Jungle Boy does not win the championship. Cody beats him. And Cody benefited from having a groundswell of public support. 66 rated main event is not too bad considering Jungle Boy was in it. And Jungle Boy, has 30 pop, 40 pop maybe. So, not too bad. And we wanted to replicate what happened in the first Dynamite, the last week's Dynamite, for our first edition, just to make sure we kept true with what's going on there. And I thought Cody and Jungle Boy would be a nice little match. So let's have a look at the overall result. We had a 58 rated show, which lost its popularity in 5 areas. Jack Evans was used too much. And we had 100 people attend the show, because that's all we're allowed to have. So 100 people attended. So hopefully there were some rabid fans there. Alright, so NXT had their show. They drew 1,300 fans. So suppose for us at the moment, our big competition is going to be NXT. We need to make sure that we're beating NXT every week, or trying to. So NXT had a 66 rated show. We, of course, had 58. So they beat us in the first outing. We had a 767,000 viewers for our American TV rating. NXT had, 1.3 million. Okay, that's a big difference. So we're getting murdered in the ratings. Badly.